the very hot topic is the way that miners are transforming and how Bitcoin mining is becoming a launchpad for businesses, industries. Us as a company, we are going through a transformation. It started as Lincoin, became Load, and now Load is not only a Bitcoin and energy company, we are also a energy intelligent compute company. We are managing flow of energy and flow of workloads to make compute more efficient.
Are you a retail or institutional investor interested in Bitcoin mining companies? The Miner Mag brings you free data and analysis from all major NASDAQ-listed Bitcoin mining operations to know who stands out. Check out visualized metrics and data-dependent stories at theminermag.com. Thanks for listening to The Mining Pod. Want more? Subscribe to our main feed on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts for another weekly show on Bitcoin stocks. And check out our newsletter at miningpod.blockspace.media today.
All right, well, welcome back to the Mining Pod. This is the crossover episode everyone has been dying for. We got the...
It's what the people want.
Well, energizing Bitcoin.
Energizing Bitcoin.
Mining Pod, smash up.
Yeah.
We're smashing them together, and the unfortunate guest who has to ride along with us is Medi from Load. Medi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to see you all.
Yeah. Hopefully you get double the amount of audience listeners, right? Or the same.
Like 16 total.
Quality is important, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How's your health? Let's start there.
I feel so good. I'm very healthy. So I've gone through a lot of health matters. One morning I woke up paralyzed, by the way. That's what happened. But now after 6 months, I'm so back, just like Bitcoin price. So I can, I can run, I can lift weights. I'm kind of back to normal.
Tell them what the condition was.
So one morning I woke up and my feet were numb. That's it. I did not do any sports. I did not have any accidents, whatever, right? And they kind of...
numb as in like your foot fell asleep, or is it like it was different feeling? Because like my leg will fall asleep sometimes. Like, and I've thought of you, man, because I've heard this story like 3 times. So every time I'm like, I'm on my way to the hospital.
Like it was a very weird numbness, like lack of strength and numbness at the same time. But eventually diagnosed with something called cauda equina. And I had to do a surgery. I did the surgery. I got discharged from hospital on a Thursday. And I got on a flight and came to Houston for Empower conference.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
That was right after surgery?
Yeah, like 10, 12 days. But like 5 days after I got discharged from hospital.
That's crazy.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude, this guy's got a heart.
This is a founder mode.
Proof of work, right?
Proof of work.
So that's what happened. But I had like a 4 or 5 months recovery period. But now I'm so healthy.
Well, you look great. We're happy you're doing a lot better, man. That's a scary deal.
Absolutely.
Well, no, thanks for jumping on the show. We've been needing to have you for a little bit. So you guys started off as Lincoin and kind of a smaller pool, and then you guys have built out Load, this energy infrastructure software, and that's basically the gist of the show today. So like we want to go through like why you went from Lincoin to Load, and then I want to zero in on Load and how like that software product differentiates itself from other competitors in the market, where you see that market going, and then also like where you see Load going, since you mentioned at the top of the show, like you guys are more than just a software company. So let's start with Lincoin. Tell us about that. Tell us about what happened with the pool. Is it still like operating?
Yes.
Okay.
So we started as a company like named Lincoin back in 2021. The very first product that we built was Lincoin mining pool. That was a FPPS mining pool. At the time, like was the beginning of the big migration from Asia to North America. As we moved on, after a few months, we learned that people don't actually want weather pools. Like when you're dealing with a pool, you probably care a lot more about how they manage your treasury and all this stuff. Like the UX part or the features are not quite important. And as a small startup, we couldn't compete on the tertiary aspect of running a mining pool. That was quite a small. We actually gained a lot of users, and we have a lot of users, and we are getting a lot of users right now. But what we learned, like the upper side of the market, like the big guys, the institutional players, that's not what they want. And in this market, in order to survive, you got to be serving the big guys. And that's the pattern. Like smaller guys are either merging into the bigger ones or they're just disappearing. So you got to be focusing on the upper side of the market. With that in mind, we started building tools and software and learning along the way how could we add value to their operation. What we identified was energy strategy. Based on the data and analytics that we did, in areas such as Texas, mining sometimes is only 30% of their revenue. 70% comes from energy strategy. So if we were focusing on mining pool as a product, we should have been competing on that extra 0.5% discount on the mining pool. Now, on the energy aspect, we are offering our users an extra 70% in their profitability.
Wow.
So this was a strategic move for us. But as part of it, like as the definition of the company evolved, Lincoln was not a big enough brand for such a product. So we rebranded to Load. It's almost now a year that we are promoting Load as our main brand. So we start off with Bitcoin mining. We are scaling up in Bitcoin mining. But what we have built and what we have learned along the way is actually very useful for anyone who is consuming power in deregulated electricity markets such as Texas or PJM.
So does Load, if Lynn is still going, and I'm asking because I'm very curious because we're actually going to be using him on a site. I don't know. Well, I mean, these are hard-hitting questions.
It's a very incestuous industry.
It is. It seriously is. Is Load, I mean, I'm guessing, is there additional data you're going to get through Load that is tied in with Lincoin? And, like, is there one overall platform that's basically tying these things in together?
You get to choose if you want to have one single dashboard for everything. So you can pick what piece of the product do you want to use. Can be a pool-only client, or you can be energy strategy plus IoT, as we call it, like operations management software or Internet of Things software, or you can be only like IoT. So you get to mix and match the best stack for your operation.
That's nice. I like it. How are you guys, like, how is the interfacing with the revenue that they're getting from the 70% that's coming from energy strategy? Like, what are you guys doing on that side?
So when we're talking about energy strategy, we're talking about more than 5 different layers. Mm-hmm. Each of them could be quite simple, but when you are mixing all the 5 layers, that could get very complicated. So as a miner or as a flexible load, you're in the business of co-optimizing all the different opportunities ahead of you in order to maximize your profitability. So the number one business that you're focusing on is Bitcoin mining. Mm-hmm. You are buying energy from the grid, selling that to the Bitcoin network. That's number one. The second one is that what is the energy cost that I'm off-taking from the grid? So that's the second layer. Third layer is some grid programs such as 4CP, 5CP mm-hmm. that you should be part of because they're going to pay you big if you comply with those. There are other layers, demand response, ancillary services. If you can strategize on those and stay compliant at the same time, you can expect that revenue increase. And that's where we come in. So we help you co-optimize all the different layers, comply with the grid requirements, and execute that strategy.
Okay, so you guys are actually helping with the compliance of it, or from a curtailing standpoint, or from just the data kind of being packaged up and allowed kind of ease of view and decision making based off that?
The compliance aspect is more about the type of commitments that you have to the grid.
Yeah.
In terms of, for example, one of the like major ones is when you're part of a demand response program, you got to comply with certain uptime requirements. So grid doesn't want a load that is going on and off mm-hmm. very often. Mm-hmm. There are some certain thresholds, certain uptime requirements that you have to follow. And that's not easy to be done manually. So in the software to track your uptime and make sure that you are complying with those requirements. So
I'll be able to do all this from one spot. Sorry, Will, I'm hijacking all these questions. Go ahead. But I was just curious what it's going to look like. I do want to see kind of a walk, and you actually gave us one before, a little sample view of I guess the dashboard. So I want to probably see that again, but that's not the time for this. So sorry.
No. This is precisely the time for it. Follow-up question though. So you guys are bootstrapped, right? Like you've never raised capital.
That's right.
To my knowledge. So how did you guys go from Lincoin to Load? And just like all customers, like it's kind of cool to see. Like a lot of these companies don't.
You see the gray hairs?
Yeah,
that's how it happened. So we bootstrapped. Doesn't mean that we hated to raise money, but when we started 2021, that was already the peak of the market. So the market started going downward very quickly. So when it is a bear market and you are a Bitcoin-only company, it's tough to raise money. Yeah. But guess what? We're tough, right?
Yeah.
So we kept building, we kept going. We started to make money. We started like growing our revenue, growing the team, growing our user base. So that kind of put us in a spot that made us kind of more sustainable against market fluctuations. At the same time, we started to diversify our revenue channels. Like some of those are Bitcoin related, some of those are fiat related. So we are mixing different types of revenue channels in order to make the company sustainable.
Where are you guys, what's your growth look like so far?
Good.
Yeah, has this year been going pretty well? And how much has it picked up since the election night?
Oh,
a lot.
Well, this is a very slow industry.
Yeah.
So
you think it is slow?
I think it is very slow compared to other industries. Like the sales does not happen over time.
Yeah.
Like when you are deploying a software or like a B2B SaaS software such as ours, you are technically marrying to that product. So that's a very important decision for an operator.
Yeah, so you got to date it for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So you know that.
Yeah.
Nice. So you have to get to know the product, to trust it, and then deploy it. So that makes the sales cycles quite long in this industry. But we have been growing well, and you probably will hear the news coming out more about our growth soon. But
this is a great time to break this. Breaking news.
Do you want to break news on the show?
Breaking news? Oh, nice. Big breaking.
There'll be a delay between so it won't probably interfere with any of your plans for the big reveal here.
So maybe when people are saying this, it has already happened. But
right.
Today's show is brought to you by Digital Shovel. Digital Shovel is a leading manufacturer of modular mining pods as well as PDUs and switchgears. Unlike many other competitors, their product is designed and manufactured in North America with a complete UL inspection on the entire unit, not just individual components. Additionally, Digital Shovel is one of the most vertically integrated manufacturers of over 75,000 square feet of sheet metal shop, SMT and wave solder PCB assembly, as well as final assembly all under one roof in Toronto, Canada. Their price point leads the industry when compared to products with rates as low as $69,000 per megawatt for a complete data center with smart PDUs and switchgears. To learn more, visit digitalshovel.com.
For miners, what sort of things are they looking for on the energy side? And it seems to be kind of simple, where it's like, plug in the software, I wanted to count how many units are on my rack, I wanted to interface with whatever electrical systems out there, tell me how much load I can take onto the system.
So probably real-time profitability is one aspect that they care a lot about. I want to make sure that I'm consuming all this energy, but I'm actually making money.
Yeah.
Insight on the device level are quite important, and those are becoming more and more important. Just see, like they've started seeing mining operations as a team of people, like a sports team, and they're scoring each ASIC separately. What is the performance of this single device? How is it doing in terms of ROI performance, like repairs, faults?
Yeah.
So
you have it broken out by machine onto this?
Yeah. And it is happening. That's a lot of data, right?
Yeah.
But the way that you have to create a profile for each single device, that's not easy. But it is happening.
So when you price stuff, and this is more for my own edification. It's a lawyer word. Do you break down? Because I've always wanted to see some of this. Is like we get paid in price per terahash, right? Or petahash, however you want to look at it. Is this platform of yours, will it break things down? Like when we're selling our electricity, you're selling it in kilowatt hours or megawatt hours. Does your platform basically compare that or convert that for you so that you know what you're doing when you're selling your energy back on a per terahash basis? What it would equate to? It'd just be easy for a one-to-one comparison if somebody could do that on their platform.
So to clarify the question, you're asking if we are translating profitability into
like per terahash. Yeah.
So the way that we do it,
and if you don't, you could add that. It'd probably be easy.
We calculate profit margins in real time per petahash.
So you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
So
man, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to use your guys' stuff.
Yep.
This is gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, probably when people are seeing this, you have already seen our platform and started using it, so you can probably add more at the time. But yeah, that's what's happening.
Nice.
But having that said, as the platform is growing, as the technology is advancing, and as we are hearing more about AI, AI is finding its way into day-to-day mining operations. Because we are dealing with a lot of data. We can probably come up with some sort of product as a company, but that doesn't mean one size fits all. So I think AI is starting to play a bigger role in day-to-day operations. Let's say you ask me, hey, can you tell me what is my profitability in petahash per second, per day, whatever? You can probably ask the same question from an AI bot who is overseeing your operation.
And it will tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I find one of those AI bots?
Oh,
you forget I'm 43, man. I'm old. This is all new to me.
His name is Botty McButtface. Really? Yeah, that's his name.
You're joking me.
No, I'm not. He's already on our dashboard.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, go chat with him.
Dude, I cannot wait to get in there.
On a load platform?
Yeah.
You guys are ahead of the game. Okay. So there's a bunch of different features that miners want. Who else are you guys trying to sell your product to besides miners? Is there an AI HPC play there besides that? Or is there other players on the grid that might want to use something like this?
So since the day we started building this product, we knew that this is not a Bitcoin mining product. We are helping any energy consumer to develop strategies.
So like an energy management program.
Exactly. So any industrial load could benefit from it. But since we see ourselves in compute industry, HPC was one of the very first markets that we wanted to target. So we started learning about all these different industries like hydrogen, HPC, ammonia, like all different types of potential flexible loads who could benefit from it. And we are still looking for more opportunities there. But what we learned was that energy management, especially in HPC, probably won't happen the way that we are doing it in Bitcoin mining. Like in Bitcoin mining, we monitor the prices, we co-optimize all the 5-6 different programs. And when it is time to execute that strategy, we are going to curtail a machine, shut it down. What does it mean? The machine stops responding to a server, which is the mining pool. Can you do that for HPC?
Is it because of the runtime?
So when you are like a internet company, you expect to be able to serve your customers 24/7, 365. So no one can expect you as an internet company to curtail when energy prices are high in Texas. So what we learned through that process was that most types of compute should be energy managed on the workload layer rather than energy layer. So when you are managing compute on the workload layer, you should you get to make sure that this workload is definitely going to be resolved, and it's not going to just end up unanswered. But at the same time, if you route it the right way, you get to save energy. You get to be part of that 6 layers of energy strategy. That's how we came up with the idea of Load, which is a new product coming up from Load, cloud computing by Load.
Look at this. More breaking news.
There we go. Nice.
Finally, we actually got breaking news. They shared it this time. Thanks, Medi.
So code is still under development, but we already have some alpha users using it for routing AI inference through Claude. So we are using that to route workloads to the cheapest, fastest. Some people call it greenest computing resource available.
I'm not going to call it greenest, but you go ahead.
Yeah, me too, but whatever. So you can make sure, based on your strategy, your compute is going to be done on the right server. And through that, you get to optimize energy usage.
I like it, man.
What I love is that you guys continue to dig in and just take action, and action reveals more intel, and intel reveals more opportunities, or if there's roadblocks to things that you guys are pursuing, and you're just very quickly making these micro pivots to get to the exact root of the problems for all of these users and provide as much value as you can. It's really cool to see, because a lot of times, I don't think you guys, maybe you do appreciate it, but the velocity that you guys are doing this at is much faster than I would say most companies do it. And so it's been cool to watch y'all's journey over the last couple of years.
In the competitive world of Bitcoin mining, one name stands out: CleanSpark, America's Bitcoin miner. At CleanSpark, efficiency isn't just a goal, it's our standard. Our sophisticated facilities are built and led by expert teams who care about Bitcoin and the communities we work in. Scale, we've mastered it. Our large-scale operations have set us apart in the industry as examples of community-oriented building. Our track record speaks for itself. We navigate the complexities of the new economy with precision and with skill, continuously achieving operational milestones. Curious about how we do it? We invite you to discover the story behind CleanSpark's success at cleanspark.com.
The other thing I want to actually turn the conversation towards is like, software as a service is really hard. Like the margins on all these things collapse over time. And it's, we always talk about open source software and Bitcoin and how important that is. But open source software sort of becomes what everything moves towards in a way, where there's so many different people who can build the same product over time. So many people know how to code, and a lot of people have a lot of the same problems. And so it all collapses in on itself. So take, for example, like Google. Yeah, it's search algorithm. We don't really know what's going on there. We don't know a lot of it. They make most of their money through advertising, right? Because like the basic problem they're solving there is like kind of known, like it's search. And there's different winners there, but the real thing they're winning with is advertising, and that's how they monetize most of the user base. And the search function itself isn't necessarily going to make you money. But for you guys, with this software, it's interesting because there's obviously a few competitors out there, and people also build their own internal systems. And so you guys really have to hustle and be competitive in a very difficult industry to have an edge. So just to wrap into a question, like, where do you see your margins coming forward for a business like this in 5 to 10 years, where all these different software providers are out there trying to compete for the spot that you're trying to sell as well?
So we have an edge because we started quite early. And if we don't innovate fast enough, you're right. Like we will end up at some point that it becomes like mining pool industry. Everyone are offering
That's a better example.
really good mining pool services, really good, and they're competing for 0.1% less fees. So this industry could end up in the same situation. Probably not as bad as mining pools, but in case you stop innovating, it's Like you'll become just like anybody else. So that's definitely important. But the good thing though is that when you're running a mining pool, there is not much room to innovate.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways people have been trying, but at the end of the day, the outcome hasn't been very big. But in this area, this territory that we're playing, which is like somewhere between IoT, energy management, operations management, there is endless opportunity to innovate and grow. So I think this probably isn't going to happen quite soon, like commoditize, we'll call it. Like it's not going to be commoditized quite soon, as long as you are innovating.
And so the innovation can occur on the user side and on the
energy side,
which I guess it wouldn't be like, it's kind of like demand supply there.
And AI side.
And AI side. Okay, interesting. From the commodification standpoint, so like a lot of these software as a service businesses are winner takes all, right? Where like mostly like 95% of the market is dominated by one player. How do you guys see that unfolding out in Bitcoin mining? Is that going to happen? Has that happened with this sort of?
So that has already happened to the mining pool side, right?
Yeah.
But we know that there are like
pool,
3, 4
foundry,
big players who are incumbent. Probably it is going to happen to other sectors across this industry too.
Yeah.
But you got to pick the sector and be one of those. So for us, energy management is the field to play.
Okay.
You're going to continue to offer the pool services though?
That's an add-on service, and people are quite happy with it. And that's probably the most feature-rich mining pool platform in the market, but people don't want features from mining pools. But still, that's definitely going to remain active as one of the offerings of the company. We call it a spot marketplace for hash rate, where we are like buying hash rate off of people.
Oh, okay.
Or buying energy in the form of hash rate off of people. So that's how we see that.
Nice.
So as the commodification happens, and it's probably going to be a winner-take-all market, like you said, you guys have to keep innovating. What side do you think matters more to innovate on? The user experience side or on the energy side? Like bring on new types of energy sources and like understanding how those like fit into a grid for someone who's using energy? Or is it more like my user wants this widget, like Justin over here wants whatever he was talking about earlier.
Like customized for me.
He wants like a...
I want the Ballard package.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture. And that's a package, as you said. A mixture of vitamins and aspirins.
Okay.
Right? So let's say UX is a vitamin. You're making more delightful for people to use your product.
Yeah.
But the energy aspect is something that decides whether this company going to exist next month or not.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely energy aspect is the area to focus on, but subject to maintaining a good UX and like keeping the product easy to use, delightful to use.
Okay. That's interesting. Because you might have more info on this, Jake, or like maybe you can ask this question better. But I'm thinking just from my knowledge of energy industry, like you have different types of energy that go into the grid and they provide like different levels of consistency, we'll say. And then when they go to the end user, maybe it doesn't matter as much if you're in West Texas and you're just using windmills, whatever, and they come off at a certain point, that might matter. But like, I guess I'm trying to say, where is the innovation on the energy side? If we kind of like know what the grid looks like, if we know that the nuclear baseload is always going to be there and that wind farm might turn off every once in a while, like, is there a ton of features to build out around that?
So we are very close to a mature product for flexible load similar to Bitcoin mining.
Okay.
Like I would say call that curtailable load.
Yeah.
There are many things that you could do. And that's why we exist. Like we help people come up with their own right strategy. We're not saying that you got to curtail at this price or you got to consume this energy mix or this or that. We let people choose what they want to do. How do we do it? We have something that we call it a no-code programming language. that people get to design their different layers of a strategy. We call it Rails, by the way. And as a matter of fact, that Rails is actually going in a direction that is becoming very interesting. AI is now able to write code in Rails. So you can ask AI, this is the strategy I want to define for my operation.
Yeah.
And AI will write you the right Rails code so you can deploy it on your operation. So, and here's the thing, if you pick a strategy for today, that doesn't mean this strategy is going to be effective tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have seen those changes happen a lot, especially in ERCOT. For example, last year, ECRS was introduced. We were seeing huge spikes in prices. That was summer 2023. Summer 2024, the prices were so cheap. ECRS was so cheap. The grid was running very smooth. So if you were a ECRS focused strategy, you were not making enough money this year. Mm-hmm. So you have to be constantly looking into markets, analyzing data, picking the right strategy for the day that you are operating.
Okay.
Everything I'm hearing, because that has been the case, 24, especially ERCOT and in particular West Zone, the volatility just was not there like it has in the past. Everything I'm hearing is because the batteries are actually.
I mean, a lot of it comes to Veriton, which is Maynard Holt investment bank research house, kind of post TPH. He did a podcast with a guy who was brought in post winter storm to kind of take over ERCOT with absolutely zero energy experience. And this guy came in and completely cleaned house and fixed everything. It's a great podcast that they dropped. You guys can go check that out.
Did he bring up batteries on there?
He didn't bring up batteries necessarily. No.
Batteries, according to everybody I've talked to, batteries have been performing very well and basically flatlining a lot of that time.
I think to that topic, the revenue of batteries dropped 80%.
Really?
In 2024.
You said the battery revenue dropped 20%?
Duracell bunnies.
Because they hold basically they're not able to sell back at a high price either.
Yep.
They eat themselves.
Yep. And the clearing prices for ECRS those has been quite low this year.
Really?
So they're not making big money anymore.
Mm-hmm. So that's actually an interesting thing that can I steer away from you for a second?
Yeah, dude.
In traditional energy systems, why is there not software like Load? Why?
Yeah, why is there?
Why is it only in Bitcoin mining we see these?
So a very interesting number about that.
Yeah.
Forgive me if the number is not correct, but something around that number. More than 80% of the grid is hedged.
Okay.
So then this isn't as important, right?
That means the banks are getting very rich unnecessarily.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
So once again, it's the banks.
Freaking banks
always
and
the
everything.
Banks and advertisers. Those are the two we just need to eliminate.
Yeah.
Can you walk that through for our listeners who are what the hell is a hedge?
Yeah,
so the price of energy is changing every 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It can be $10 per megawatt hour right now. It could be $1,000 in 5 minutes and then $5,000 in 15 minutes. As an energy consumer, that's really scary. Hey, I don't want that price. I don't want that electron to flow into my wires in the building. So you go show up at a bank or any broker and say, hey, I want a power, I want a hedge, I want a PPA, whatever. I want to fix my rate at this specific number or give me an offer, right? Mm-hmm. So you hedge your energy use, which means that you give away exposure to low prices in exchange for being protected against high prices. So that's what's going on, and that's very normal across grids in North America. And as I said, probably the number might be wrong, but more than 80% of the grid is actually hedged.
So it's kind of like insurance.
Yeah.
For people listening, it's you give away $20, $100 a month to their insurance company for dental or vision or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when something bad happens, you don't have to pay out of pocket for all.
It also, on a broader scale, and this kind of ties in overall just commodity markets, provides stability to the economy. It's very it's very impossible to run a modern economy without hedges and without futures contracts.
Right. I mean, you look at what happened prior to there being any type of hedge market in Bitcoin, right? You still don't have a very robust one, but you have the things popping like Luxor is trying to, have their basically hash rate market. But like, oil and gas companies, I mean, to actually keep one running when you have the volatility on oil and gas if you didn't have hedges, it'd be virtually impossible, I think, for you to have.
Here's the analogy I like to use because anybody can understand regardless of industry. Like Chick-fil-A has hedges on chicken and future contracts on chicken. Because if Chick-fil-A doesn't have chicken, Chick-fil-A doesn't have a business. Right? So you just take that and you can put it across any commodity.
The waffle and fry company.
So that's why people are not interested enough in load flexibility. But we believe that's about to change, and people are getting more conscious. At least, if you are hedged, you still get the opportunity to sell back your hedge to the grid. So that's the minimum, and people are not using that opportunity. So there's a mixture depending on the status of their load, like their risk appetite and everything. But there is still monetization room for any sort of flexibility in the grid.
So, not to cut you short, but to clarify, what load and similar softwares do is allow you to not use that hedge or perhaps use a different type of hedging instrument. And then you can have a little more granular control over the flow of electrons into your business and curtail when you want, keep it online if you want, and not have to pay for that hedge, or maybe have a different type of hedge. It's cheaper.
Or monetize the hedge by selling back your position.
So it's a big market, basically. Like if we see more grids like ERCOT pop up, PJM's becoming much larger. I don't know how much you guys are deploying there, but everyone's talking about deploying there right now. So that's also a little more open. Not quite ERCOT open, I understand, but
there are many similarities in PJM. So there is most opportunities available there. Like something good about PJM is that you can stack different programs. While in ERCOT you can only pick one. But the opportunity in PJM also exists. Like PJM and ERCOT are the more developed markets. New York also. But the other, there are 9 markets. Like the other 6 markets, they are evolving. So they're moving in the same direction.
Well, I like it. I'm excited. I'm glad we're going to be using it, man.
You ready to dig in?
I want to see another little walkthrough on the platform.
But Justin package.
The Justin package. Can we get the Ballard package?
We'll put that on the website.
That'd be dope.
Normal package, Pleb package, Ballard package.
Which load do you want? The Ballard package?
The Ballard load or the...
All right, Medi, where can we find out more about load? Where can we follow you?
Twitter and LinkedIn. And Telegram are probably the good ways to reach out. And looking forward to connect with anyone who's interested.
Awesome. So if you're a Bitcoin miner and work with load, hit them up. Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Medi. Thanks, Will.